My name is Carly Sevion. I grew up in Plainfield, Indiana, good old Hoosier State. I grew up with my mom and my two brothers until she got remarried when I was in middle school. You know, we lived a happy life, went to school, all that, nothing too out of the ordinary. My mom tried to make us go to church as much as she possibly could. We went to a little Baptist church in Plainfield, and I would try my best to not fall asleep. So I knew who Jesus was. I knew, I did believe that there was, God, that there was a man upstairs per se, but I never truly knew Jesus in the sense of having a personal relationship with him. The main thing, though, that I think would probably have a tie to my story was the fact that addiction ran in my family. My father has always struggled with drinking. I have a brother who's in active recovery, and he's saved, praise God. But those years of dealing with drug use in the house, alcohol use in the house, those were really tumultuous times. And during those times, especially with dealing with my brother and his addiction, there were times where, since on paper it looked like I was doing well, I was often the invisible child. So I did so well, and I was a high achiever in school. So since I was doing well, she must be doing okay emotionally. Behind closed doors, since I was doing well, nobody was checking in on me. So when I was about 13, I started smoking, when I started drinking. So for years, this went unnoticed by my parents. And so I never really truly got the help I needed. And so since I didn't, I started looking for help in other places. And that led me to some dark spaces. And I started reading more about witchcraft and other religions. I started to look at Buddhism and Hinduism. I was searching for something. I was searching for some kind of purpose, some kind of meaning behind everything, something to give me an idea as to why the things in my life had happened, why things that had happened to me were going on, because I wasn't fully certain that I knew there was a God, but was he actually loving? Did he actually care about me? And if he did, why do all these things happen? Which I feel is a very common question that people have. And when you have a very curious personality and you're searching out for these things, sometimes you will find answers in the wrong places. So starting in high school, and I was hanging out with some people that maybe I shouldn't have been hanging out with, it led me to studying witchcraft and diving into that a little bit more. And I started out by, watching like movies and things that made witchcraft seem attractive. And at first it was like in high school, when I started delving into it, it was just like, oh, let's get a Ouija board, turn off all the lights, and then we will, see who we can talk to. Looking back on it, I know that it was just a stepping stone into something deeper. And I wish somebody would have said, hey, this is like a serious thing. But I don't think that anybody around me knew just how far it would go. When I got into high school, I was partying more. I was definitely going out more. I was staying out way too late. At the end of high school was definitely like where the drug use and the alcohol use skyrocketed. So when I got to college, I was already pretty much leaning on those things as a coping mechanism. I went to Franklin College. I actually got a full tuition scholarship to go there for journalism, which obviously I was enthralled about. That was so exciting. So I quickly found some other friends. The girl that I met in class, she had a roommate. And so I quickly became friends with them. And we ended up spending all of our time together. And upon meeting them, I realized just how much they were into witchcraft stuff. So as soon as I walked into their dorm, and there's things hanging up in there, they have pentagrams hanging up, and they've got candles, and you weren't supposed to have candles, but we had them. As soon as we all moved in together, it was like, for lack of a better term, it was like a seance every night. It was either we were doing some kind of like ritualistic thing that we read in a book or following along with something, or it was either that or we were going out and partying. Like those were the two options every single night. It just got really complicated and messy as the year went on. But like I joined a sorority, which was something that they were like, oh, like we don't do that. That's what normies do. And I was like, well, I want to do it, so I'm going to do it. I was kind of an oddball in that sorority, but I did meet a girl in that sorority with me. Her name was Diamond. She quickly became like my best friend, and she ended up moving into the quad with us when one of our roommates moved out. Now, Diamond and I really liked to party. That was what we did all the time. As this was going on, the substance use was rising, and I was still practicing witchcraft. Like even after I wasn't like hanging out with those same people anymore, I was still taking those same habits and doing them. I was so distracted by like relationships and drug use and the witchcraft stuff that it led me to a place where this was my junior year of college. And I was just a mess. I was taking a lot of hallucinogenics. I was taking a lot of like prescription medication at that time, like abusing it. It was like an exhausting way to live. And I got to a point where I was just so desperate. I was trying to get, my school life back together because it all just felt like it was crumbling around me. And it came time to sign up for classes second semester of my junior year. And the only class that was available was a class called New Testament Life. And there were plenty of open seats in that one. I don't think that many people would be surprised to know that all the classes about Islam were filled up, all the classes about Buddhism were filled up, all the classes about Hinduism were filled up. The only one available to me was New Testament Life, and there were only 7 people in the class. So I became the lucky 8. We were given an assignment to study these parables in Luke, and we had to read it. We had to write a little blurb about it. And I had the parable of the lost sheep. I remember going to my professor's office and being like, this is so stupid. Like, what is he trying to teach them? Because if I were a shepherd, I wouldn't go and leave 99 of my good sheep for risk of like what might happen to them just to go search for that one. Like, I'd probably just leave it out in the wilderness. Like, that seems so silly to go and do that because it's probably a lost cause anyway. And my professor looked at me and he was like, aren't you so glad that Jesus doesn't feel that way about you? In February, I found out that I was pregnant with my oldest daughter. And still to this day, I tell people that God hid her from me because I did not know that I was pregnant for about 4 months until I found out. But I found out at a doctor's appointment that she was going to be due in August. And when I saw that baby on that screen, it was a whole baby. And it radically changed my life because as soon as she confirmed that there was a baby, I was like, okay, I have been drinking and smoking a lot. She was like how much? I'm like not a recreational amount. And I was like, is she gonna be okay? And she was like, as long as you just like stop now, you should be okay. And I immediately went into panic mode because I didn't know how to function without it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to sleep. I don't know if I'm going to be able to go to class. Like, what am I going to do? I remember feeling like I just don't want to do this because I had already had this plan in my brain that I was not going to have kids and that I was just going to live this nomad lifestyle. And that was like my plan from the very beginning. So this totally rocked my world. And so I was really grappling with it for a while. And I just didn't want to do it. I just didn't. Like, at the time, I was still in that very selfish mindset. I was still hearing these voices and I was trying to sleep. I was trying to do it like without the substances. I was really trying. And I was like, you know what? It would just be easier if I wasn't here. It would just be easier. I was like, because this isn't the way that it played out in my mind at all. And I had a collection of drugs and alcohol in my room. And so I just thought in my head, I was like, on this long weekend when my roommates aren't home, I'll just put it all together in a Dixie cup and I'll take it all at once. And I'll get to go peacefully. I'll just get to drift off high as a kite, and it'll be all said and done. I had planned it all out. I wasn't going to leave a note or anything. But I don't know, it like became the time to do it, like late at night, and I was just in my room and I was just thinking about everything. And then I just kept hearing this like still small voice. I couldn't make out words, so I can't tell you exactly what it was saying, but I just knew that it was different from what I had heard. And I had a thought that I had never had before, and that was, okay, just call out to Jesus. And it was like this thought that I had, like in the middle of all this, like I'm literally like preparing to do this, and a thought that would never come from myself. It just was like, call out to Jesus. And I just sat down on the floor, right there in front of like my table that had all my witchcraft stuff on it. And I sat down, I just looked up, and I was like, Jesus, I don't know if you're real. I was like, I don't know if you're who I've read about for the last few weeks. And I was like, but if you are real and you can hear me, I was like, I just really need you to save me. I was like, because this is not working anymore. It was like right when I said that, it was like this physical wind blew through the room, and it just like I can like picture it in my brain of like and it just blew all those voices away, and it was like silent in my room for the first time in years. Like I didn't hear a thing, and I remember just like breaking down and sobbing and just saying thank you, because it was like this breaking of something off of me that I had never experienced before. Like right when that happened, I just ended up falling asleep on the floor in my room. I just passed out right there. And I woke up the next morning, and I was like well rested, which was something that hadn't happened in a long time either. Like practically drooling on my arm on the floor. And when I woke up, I was like, thank you, God. I couldn't even like put into words what had happened. And I immediately like scrambled for my Bible. I opened it up, and the first thing I opened up to was Psalm 116. And the very first verses of that are, I love the Lord my God because he heard my cry for help, my cry for mercy. And then when I kept reading it, I was like, this is just my story, Lord. Like it talks about being in anguish, about, that we curse so many people for the things that have happened, and he is the rest. He is what we get. He is our peace and our joy, and he is mighty to save. And I remember going and flushing all those pills down the toilet because I didn't even want it to come up again. And I just right then and there, I devoted my life to Christ. So I was like, I don't know what this looks like. I don't know what you want me to do. I don't know how this is going to play out. But I know that you saved my life, and so I owe you everything. And I want to be clear that I wasn't perfect after that point. From that point, I had to give a lot up. There was a lot of sacrifice that had to be made. There was a lot of sanctification, and in many ways, that's still happening. I remember visiting here, and the very first Sunday that I came here, Rodney and Alicia were leading worship, and I'm pretty sure it was like War, and we did Indescribable, and it was the first time that I was ever in a church service where I was like, people are standing up for worship, and people are singing along, and people are clapping, and people are like shouting about what God has done for them, and I just felt right at home here. And I truly believe it was, God orchestrating it, just simply because I was challenged when I started to come here. I found a place to plug in for ministry, and I always felt like God wanted me to sing with the worship team because I had a gifting that I hadn't used in years, but it wasn't until like starting to be on the worship team that I realized that, you know, I had a lot of more work to do when it came to my walk with Christ. And I'm very thankful for that, because there are a lot of places that will see your giftings and your talents and will just usher you right in and never challenge you to do better, or, you know, like actually disciple you. And so I was discipled when I got here. And that helped me physically break a lot of things off in my flesh that I was still holding on to. So right along the time that I started going to TBC, I reconnected with someone that I had met during college. And when it's Trayvon, my now husband, spoiler alert. But when we started dating, I had basically told him that I was like, I'm living life with Christ now, and I am looking for a husband. I'm not really looking to play games or do childish stuff anymore. I was like, and if you want to go after Christ alongside me, then we can do it together. And I was like, but if that's not something you want to do, then hit the road. And I was very surprised when he said, yeah, I think I want to do that. I was like, all right. So he started coming to church with me here. And Simone was just about a year old, and we now have 3 more beautiful children. We actually got married here at the church in 2021. And so now I have the privilege and the honor of being able to serve here at this church on the worship team. But not only that, me and my husband, we get to lead the young adults ministry here too, which is so great because we get to see other people our age that are trying to figure it out. They're trying to follow after God rightly. They're seeking to honor him in the things that they do. They're trying to cultivate their gifts and their talents. I get to raise a family, something that I never thought that I wanted to do, but it's my greatest ministry. Having 4 kids, which people would say that that's a handful, but I always respond and tell them that it's better than your hands being empty, which is almost what my story was. And so I'm very grateful for the redemption power of Jesus Christ, because this is what he does. He rewrites stories. I'm very grateful that I wasn't a lost cause and that he saw me. But this is just the nature of what he does. He's a wonder-working God. He's a supernatural God. He works miracles. He will give you gifts that you never asked for. He will spare you from things that you rightly deserve. He's full of grace and he's full of mercy. It's okay to admit that you're not okay. There are plenty of people in this church who would love to help you and to talk to you and pray with you, and help you surrender and help you lay it down. Because Jesus is in the business of changing lives. And if he did it for me, then I know that he can do it for you too.